Yes, I think Charlotte is much more relatable to people now because we all kind of recognize that while we all want to be the Lizzie and have the Lizzie and Darcy moments, I think most of us at some point realize that that's not us. And very few people ever have that blowout romance kind of thing that belongs in the movies and the books. I think most of us realize that because love is complicated and because life is messy, most of our romances come slowly or just in not such a bombastic way. Um, and so I think as we get a little older, we all start to realize maybe we're more ordinary than our younger selves thought we ever would be. Because when you're young, you think, I'm going to take charge of the world and I'm going to be known and I'm going to do big things and people will look at me and think, wow, you've got such an incredible story. And then once the decades go on and you realize like, actually, maybe I'm not that special. Maybe I'm just quite ordinary. But I think I also hit a point where I was like, but it's okay to be ordinary. And that's what made me find Charlotte such a cool character to make the protagonist of a play, because when you think protagonist of a play, you think hero, you see something, and she's just kind of ordinary. And I think I wanted to explore like what makes ordinary so beautiful and so cool to just say, reclaim ordinary. Like, yeah, I'm ordinary, kind of boring, kind of basic, but I'm okay with it. The world doesn't need to be full of heroes or, what would the world look like if every woman was a leading lady? But I think that social disconnect also then comes from the fact that we've got social media. Everyone is out there trying to be the main character. There's that thing called main character syndrome where everyone tries to always make it about themselves. And so I think the supporting characters look at that and it may make them feel less okay with being ordinary. It's hard to say you're okay with being ordinary when you're seemingly filled with a world filled with Lizzies. So I think in that way I was trying to play with the idea of protagonist and supporting character and those people who feel like they're the supporting character in their own lives. To say you're not the supporting character of your own life, you're obviously the protagonist of your own life, but that doesn't have to mean you have to be this big bombastic person who has these, men chasing after her in the rain. You're the leading lady of your own story, but if you're ordinary, then you're an ordinary leading lady, and that's quite fine.